This week, we've witnessed big defections from the Conservative Party to Reform UK. First, Nadhim Zahawi, and then Robert Jenrick. Zahawi, the one-time Chancellor, came first. He was announced to be the 23rd former Tory MP to join Reform UK's ranks. It's not clear if Reform UK has really gained much here. Zahawi has held high office and thus brings a modicum of experience, albeit from a chaotic, failing government. However, he also once had to pay a 7-figure sum to HMRC for tax irregularities, and seems to have joined Reform UK after the Tories had refused to nominate him to become a member of the House of Lords. Hardly a good look. Indeed, with Zahawi, there was a real danger for Nigel Farage's right-wing party. With 23 former Tory MPs, his party was starting to look like a home for has-beens, for people who have lost their seat and are trying to get their career back on track. Even worse, these people all come from one of the establishment vehicles he is supposedly trying to oppose. Of course, everyone who has paid attention to Farage over the past 3 decades will realise he is about as establishment as they come. He is a privately educated former banker who has consistently positioned himself as on the side of big capital, but he has to work hard to look like he isn't part of the establishment. Hence all the photos of him drinking pints and his regular appearances on comedy programmes. The more former Tory MPs join his party, the harder this appearance will be to maintain. Starmer took every opportunity possible at Prime Minister's questions to point this out. This allowed him to swipe at the Tories and Reform UK at one at the same time. The Conservative Party is looking like a sinking ship, and Reform UK like a miserable life raft. But remember, Starmer himself welcomed 2 Tory MPs just before the 2024 general election. The real truth of this situation is the relative ideological interchangeability of Labour, Reform UK and the Conservatives. All 3 basically believe in a similar neoliberal economic model and sing from the same hymn sheet on a vast array of social issues. Starmer's Island of Strangers speech in 2025 sounded like it had come straight out of the mouth of Enoch Powell, the notorious racist and reputedly one of Farage's idols. Robert Jenrick's defection is slightly more dramatic than Zahawi's. Jenrick was, until his defection, seen as the favourite to be the next Conservative Party leader. Kemi Badenoch appears to have uncovered this plot and blown the lid on it, booting Jenrick out of the party before he could join Farage's cabal. Jenrick is to an extent quite charismatic, with a slick media team, but his slate is about as clean as Zahawi's, having been immigration minister during the ballooning of immigration, the so-called Boris wave, which the right has latched onto. So neither Zahawi or Jenrick are clean. And as much as Farage is right to stress that Reform UK need experience if they win so as to be able to enact a legislative agenda, the more immediate concern of getting elected will shape whether these defections turn out to be value for money. And right now, Reform UK appears to have plateaued in the polls. Farage has a certain following, and a number of people are voting for his party because they currently look like the insurgent apparent. But most of the country cannot stand him or his ilk, and it currently looks unlikely that they'll win an outright majority. Will Zahawi or Jenrick help them push up points? This remains to be seen. Either way, it's likely they'd need to do a deal with whatever is left of the Conservative Party. Perhaps the 23, now 24 former MPs would make this process easier, or perhaps the Conservatives will see them as traitors who they refuse to work with. Or indeed, could these defectors become infiltrators who pull the rug out from under Farage's feet? People like Jenrick and Zahawi are people with considerably more parliamentary and governmental experience than Farage and his band of fanatics. He could quickly find himself losing control before he's even got started. If the wheels came off on his dark agenda like this, it might not be a reprieve for the British public, but a recipe for disaster as the right pivots into all sorts of extreme, chaotic ideas. The pipe dream of Farage and co. is that defections like these are part of a path which would lead to the toppling of the Conservative Party. This is perhaps where the third defection from last week comes into play. Andrew Rosendale is a considerably less well-known figure than Zahawi and Jenrick amongst the public. However, behind the scenes, he's an influential Eurosceptic MP. Reform UK might be hoping that this translates into a signal for the Eurosceptic Tories to abandon the Conservative Party en masse. This would then leave Reform UK as the principal opposition against Starmer. The public would feel pressured to choose between the right-wing Reform Party or the slightly more shyly right-wing Labour Party. Only time will tell if this comes to pass.